Hey, what's going on, my Forever Young Fitness family? Welcome to another Coach's Corner. Please be sure to like, share, comment, follow, do all that YouTube stuff. Hit the subscription button. We are getting into another Coach's Corner in which I'm going to really try to simplify, and I'm going to implement one of the things in which I'm going to implement a little drill that I do when I do consultations with people and break down what they're spending their money on so they have full understanding of why they are or are not able to make the investment to optimize their health, right? We've all heard the term health is wealth, and not anybody can convince you how euphoric and how amazing it feels to be in good health, right? No one can convince you the value of that until you experience it. And in all my years of coaching, especially with the Champion Challenge, right? When someone takes the Champion Challenge and they omit all the poor habits for the 60 days and they maximize the results in those 60 days, at any point that I've had someone kind of fall off the path, they actually crave, they're like, oh my God, like it felt so good to be in that space. So no one can tell you. You have to experience it for yourself. So I'm going to break down where your poor spending habits, where your poor eating habits are costing you the most, and why you're unable to make the investment in your health, and why it's so necessary to allocate that. The cash flow in which you're spending on your poor habits, we're going to allocate into your health. So I know there's nothing here right now, but we're going to start filling in these spaces so that it makes more sense. So I was part of a Facebook group where where they did like a survey, and they were like people who make $45,000 a year and less, or people that are always financially struggling, if you will. And the only reason out here in New Jersey or in this tri-state area, $45,000 is not a lot of money. Can you make it work? I'm sure you can, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. So let's say it as, people who are financially struggling. What's the number one thing they possess or own? And the number one thing on the list was J's, right? Jordans. All right, so we're just going to put that's J's, right? And I'm going to put $250 next to it because the average price of Jordans is about $250. I'm not a sneakerhead. I'm pretty sure there's some that are much more expensive. But J's was the number one on the list. And then it was iPhone, right? Which I have a whole nother argument about iPhones because the technology is outdated and way behind. They keep selling you guys the same phone, but it's a different coaching corner for a different day. So what, iPhone $1,000? We're going to say $1,000. I'm going to squeeze that on here somehow. That's $1,000. That's another zero in there somewhere. So iPhone is another one. And then you get into the fancy clothes, right? Everyone has their favorite Shein outfit, right? So you got your favorite Shein outfit. You got your handbags. And handbags was another one that came up. So your Louis V. I'm not a handbag person, but you know where I'm going with this, right? So $1,000. These are people that have poor habits, right? So, and I don't want to get this mixed up with. Trust me, there are plenty of people who are well-to-do, right? They have a great job, they make good money, they're in shape, and they have these things as well. This is not a conversation about them. That is a select few. That is a select group. They have their priorities in order. These are people that are on the hamster wheel and can't figure out why they are unable to get in shape or optimize their health. So, with this being said, so you only make so much money, and this is where you've invested your cash flow, right? So then when we get down to your health, you're going to cut corners because you don't have a lot of cash flow left. So when you get down to your health, you're now going to find a way to get the cheapest thing to fulfill the need to eat, right? Like you're hungry, you have to fulfill that, right? Your body's like, feed me. So you're going out, and the average fast food meal is around $15, right? So if you're doing this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're already spending $45 on very, very bad nutritional dense or very poor nutritionally dense food. Did I say that correctly? I think I said that correctly, right? So now you don't put $15 a meal. So let's change this to $45 a day, right? So you're spending $45 a day on food that is not good for you. Now, because you're eating poorly, you don't fit the clothes the way you used to. So now you're going to go out and you're going to make the investment into a gym, right? The cheapest gym you can get a membership at is $10. We're not going to say no names, right? So now you got a $10 gym membership. You probably sit down with a nutritional coach or a fitness trainer, and you're going to try to budget them as well, right? Because you don't see the value in it because your cash flow is not right. You're now spending, you spent all your money on the things in which you possess that make you feel good in the moment, right? You're out at the club, you're flexing on them, you're binge drinking. Now you're eating poor food at night because you got to eat hangover food to soak up all the alcohol, and then that cycle just continues to repeat itself, right? And I'm not picking on anybody. We've all been there, we've all done it, right? We've all mismanaged our finances in some way, shape, or form, and it all falls under poor habits. And when it comes to investing in the things that are important, there's a lack of cash flow, or there's a lack of funds to make it happen. And our excuse is, oh, it's too expensive, or oh, I can't afford that, or I don't have time, right? That was our last coaching call. I don't have the time, I'm too busy, right? Because now you got to go out and get another job because you got to continue to afford this. So what happens is these poor habits are costing you both time and money that you could be investing into your health. Why am I saying that? The reason why you've heard the term so many times, health is wealth, not I, as a coach, not anybody can convince you of the bliss and the euphoria you feel when you're in good health, right? Until you're there, so many times in the Champion Challenge, I've told people for 60 days, go full investment in you. That means no bad habits. That's no drinking. That's no smoking. That's no spending unnecessary money. Allocate all this cash flow into your health for 60 days, and people get amazing results. And at any point after, let's say they stop working with me, they go off and do their thing, and they fall back into some of these poor habits. When I do see them again, they literally crave that sensation of like, man, I felt so good even after doing the 60-day challenge. That first bad meal they had, they say they have an upset stomach because the body had reached a peak of just positive flow, if you will. That is the term I'm going to go with, positive flow. They got into this positive flow, and when they abandoned it, like the body's like, wait a minute, we were doing so well. Like no one can convince you how good healthy feels until you feel it for yourself. So with all that being said, what I'm trying to point out here is that if you continue to perpetuate this, right, and all this is temporary, right, because your J's are only going to last so long before they're old to you and you need to go get another pair. Your iPhone is only going to last so long before they slow it down and you have to go get the latest upgrade, the same phone for a higher price. With a little better camera, right? And then the handbag is going to get worn, and you're going to do a hand-me-down, you're going to go get another handbag, and just the cycle continues. And you find yourself short of cash to actually make an investment. And as long as you're making these investments, as long as you're making poor habit investments into your life, you're going to continue to cut corners when it comes to your health. And as long as you're cutting corners when it comes to your health, you are going to be unable to reach optimal health. You're not gonna know what it feels like to be in your full flow. If you want things to, the greatest things about you flow from within. And if you're unhealthy, it's not gonna happen. And as always, look, an ounce of prevention is always better than a pound of cure. Let me say that one more time. An ounce of prevention is always better than a pound of cure. So I challenge everybody watching, assess your spending and lifestyle habits, because the first major red flag for yourself is that anytime an opportunity or anything fruitful is presented to you and you're unable financially and physically, that's a major red flag for yourself that you have your priorities mixed up. And there's nothing wrong with being honest with yourself and addressing it, right? So first and foremost, we've only covered the basics, and you can already see the amount of money being spent on things that only give you make you feel good in the moment, right? When you first get it, it feels good. The first couple times you rock it and you're flexing on people, it feels good. But then it begins to change, right? The longer you have those things. So let's allocate this money into our health, and I promise you, not only will you feel good internally and you'll begin to exhibit that externally, but you'll also be able to take advantages to generate wealth and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there. And please do not forget, from our last Coach's Corner, we had a timeline down here. The longer you take to address this, it only gets harder. It doesn't get easier. The task only gets harder. So while we're young, able, and willing to get after it, now is the time to be honest with ourselves, do some self-reflecting, and get ourselves in order. So, with that being said, that is our Coach's Corner. I'm not here to pick on anybody, just to repeat myself. We are here to address ourselves and push ourselves in a much better direction in life, in health, and so on. So, as always, keep God first. All right. Approach everything in peace, love, and positivity, and everything else will fall into place. Be serviceable to those around you. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment, hit the bell notification. Thank you for joining us on this Coach's Corner. Until next time, peace.